Hello everyone, it's the Batman Statue Collector, and today is the very final battle in round number 1 of the Arkham Madness Tournament. Today, Arkham Origins Bane takes on Arkham Origins Killer Croc in a battle of the monsters. Who's going to come out on top? Find out next. Alright guys, welcome back, and like I said, today is the ultimate battle of the beasts as Arkham Origins Bane takes on Arkham Origins Killer Croc, and what an immense battle of epic proportions that is going to be. But before we start, I want to remind you, make sure you're going to Batman Statue Collector every single day, because every single time you visit that website and vote is another entry into those amazing giveaways. The Hot Toys figure from Sideshow Collectibles, and then also, of course, that Dark Knight's metal print signed by Jonathan Galapian, Greg Capullo, and Scott Snyder. So I cannot wait to give those away again, and I just cannot wait to see who's going to win today. So as always, let's start first with the bases. So we're going to go ahead and start with Bane's base first, and his base is massive because Bane is massive, and so he needs a really nice, solid, heavy base to stand on. And the cool thing that they did is, in order to make him about the same height as the rest of the line, they made his base shorter. But again, it's massive, and it definitely fits in with the rest of the line. It is this giant crumbled base. It's got a little piece in the back that makes it look like it's still part of the full base, which I think is really neat. You can't see it as well, but if you see it from behind, again, it's meant to look like the rest of the line, the height anyways of the bases. I think that's really neat. Lots of little details inside the base that you might not notice unless you really look, but tons of detail there. And again, it's just a simple looking base. It's just this big crumble, but if you look at close, like I said, there's a lot of detail there. Now as we switch gears over to Killer Croc, of course, his base is very similar. It's kind of a crumbly base as well, but this one, of course, represents the sewers. You have the nice water elements and the piping. If you also add in some of the skulls, which are extra features, so you might consider those to be switch outs, but you do have some of those really cool elements that you can add to the base, bones and just disgusting things that are on the base itself. It looks really cool. If I had to choose in this round, again, they're both similar bases in a lot of ways because they're both massive figures, but if I had to choose, I think this award goes to Killer Croc, just simply because of the level of detail and the bones and the skulls and things you can add in. I think that's a really nice touch, and I think it's really cool looking. So this round definitely goes to Killer Croc. So next up, of course, is the bodies, and both of these bodies on these statues are absolutely amazing, and Bane actually has two. They have two different versions of him. Both versions have the same base and the same legs, but then there are two differences. Of course, you have two different torsos. Number one, you have Mercenary Bane, and that is where he is crossing his arms. He's got the jacket. He looks really neat, in my opinion. I actually really like him. But the problem with him, of course, is that people don't know he's Bane because you don't have those muscles, you don't have those tubes of venom. And so that's why a lot of people anyway, they passed on that one. Now, the one I have, of course, is Venom Bane. He has muscles, he has all of this detail, so much detail in him, and he looks really incredible. He, unfortunately, though, is one of my least favorite in the collection, and I don't know exactly why. I just feel like he's missing something. I maybe would have liked to have seen him, like, his hands reaching forward like this, kind of, hulking, just ready to rip somebody apart. And instead, we get this pose where he's just kind of pointing off into the distance. Even though he has a ton of detail, there's just something missing in my eyes. He looks great, again, just the veining in his arms, all of the tubes. Another unfortunate part for me is that he has this big, massive thing on his back, the skull pack, where all of the tubes are going into, and it looks absolutely stunning. But you don't ever get to see it because it's on his back. So I feel like there were some missed opportunities with him. And again, he's not really my favorite in the collection. I actually prefer the mercenary look. But again, a lot of people don't really know him. They don't really know that look of him. So it's unfortunate to me because I would have liked to have seen it done a little bit differently. And I would have liked to have seen them sell them together with the two torsos. I know my good friend Thomas Nielsen's out there. He has been saying that for all along, that they wish they would have packed them both together so you can switch it out if you want to, because the head sculpts are similar. So anyway, that's just my opinion. Overall, looks really good. As we move over to Killer Croc, he is massive. I can't even imagine how big he is when I actually get him in my collection. He is on pre-order for me, and I'm excited about him, but I'm a little bit worried too just because of his size. He's kind of hulking forward, you know, he's got his arm down. Again, the level of detail is really great, and when they first came out with him, he kind of looked a little bit bland, a little bit dry looking, so they decided to add a water element to make his skin and scales all shiny. So I cannot wait to see that in hand. I think that'll look really awesome, and it'll really bring him to life. But again, he's just simply massive. He's got all these scales, so much detail, you know, the rips in the pants where you can see the scales through it, the Arkham pants, everything about it looks really neat in my opinion. If I had to choose between these two bodies, I personally would choose Killer Croc. Just simply because of his size, the way he's posed, he's massive, and he has so much detail. I think he looks great. So in this round, I pick Killer Croc. All right, so now let's move on to my favorite round. Of course, that's the head sculpt round. Let's start with Bane. Bane does come with 3 head sculpts if you buy the Venom version. He has the regular standard head sculpt, which I have displayed on my piece. You also have the enraged piece, and then the standard unmasked head. All 3 look good. I personally think maybe the unmasked head looks a little bit better than any of the other ones. I think that they all look good, but I'm not really wowed by any of them by any means, and that's unfortunate because I think it could have just been better. Again, that's not necessarily Prime 1's fault, it's just the way the game model was. And maybe realistically, I really like other versions of Bane better, like the Sideshow one back here. I just like that version of him better, and so I'm just not in love with the statue, but it does have great presence, and the head sculpts do add to the overall character itself. The Mercenary Bane only comes with 2. You only get the regular standard head sculpt and then the unmasked. You don't get the enraged one. I find the enraged one is a little bit cartoony in my opinion. That's just me. I know a lot of people really like it, but it's just not my favorite. As we move over to Killer Croc, he comes with 2 head sculpts. He comes with the standard Croc face, and then also the angry with his mouth open Croc face. Me personally, I don't have it in hand yet, of course, but me personally, I like the standard head way better. I don't really like the open jaw. Now, if you watch the Two-Face video that I just did, I said the same thing about Two-Face's head. There was a head sculpt I didn't really care for, and that's the one I ended up loving. So who knows what I'll actually like whenever it's time to put it on there. But I do feel like there's a lot of detail, and the head sculpts look really good on Killer Croc. If I had to choose between the 2 of them, this one's tough because, you know, this one comes with 3 head sculpts, Killer Croc comes with 2, but in this particular round, I am more wowed by Killer Croc's head sculpt. So I'm going to award this round, to Killer Croc. I just think it looks better. All right, so the final round, of course, is the exclusive round. Well, this one's going to be quick again because Bane does not have an exclusive. He was sold as 2 different versions of him, so I guess you can kind of think of this one as the exclusive with the Venom version. It was more expensive, had more detail, so I guess you can kind of think of it that way, but really there is no exclusive for Bane, and so by default, Killer Croc wins. He, of course, as his exclusive, has another skull, but this one has Batman's cowl on top. It's an okay exclusive. I don't think you really necessarily need it. It's something that I probably will not display on the base even though I'm getting the exclusive. I like the skull look a lot better because again, if you have Batman wearing a cowl in the collection, it doesn't really make sense that you have one on his base. So again, it's a decent exclusive, but I don't think it's necessary. But bottom line is he wins this round by default because he's the only one with an exclusive. Alright guys, so there you have it. We have, of course, the amazing Bane taking on the amazing Killer Croc. 2 great statues by Prime 1 Studio. If I had to choose a winner, this one's easy for me. This one, easily, Killer Croc wins this round just because of his sheer size, his detail, his wet look, his sewer base. He's just a really awesome statue. I cannot wait to have him in my collection. I'm a little bit worried about his size again because he is just so massive. But I cannot wait again just to see him in person because he is really cool looking. As always, remember that my opinion doesn't matter. What matters is yours. Make sure you are voting every single day at BatmanStatueCollector.com because I want one of you to win out there. The voter turnout has been amazing, so thank you guys so very much. As soon as this round's over, we're going to go into round 2. The very first matchup is going to be the people that you chose. You voted for Arkham Knight Knight Joker taking on Arkham Knight Robin. That'll be the very first round and basically a rematch of that amazing Death in the Family episode where Joker kills Robin. So it'll be really a cool matchup, and I cannot wait for round 2 action. So stay tuned for that. As always, guys, I thank you so very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you right here in the Batcave.